Hey guys, Chris Krasnowski reporting in for Birding Earth VFX, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how to create our own planet. This is the third tutorial I've done on this, and I must say that I like this method the most so far, so I'm just going to give you guys a bit of a quick little tip here. We could probably do this in about maybe 10-20 minutes or so. Shouldn't be too long, shouldn't take too much time out of your day in case you wanted to go outside, play volleyball or something. So let's jump right into it. What we're going to do is we're going to create a geosphere and make it fairly large with a high amount of segments. 20 segments, 25,000 units is fine, I think. And we're going to call this our planet. So P-L-A-N-E-T. Planet. Okay. Zoom extends all so that we can get the planet in our scene. Looks good there. And we're going to go into our top view and we'll create a camera. Just a quick little target camera. Center the target on the planet. And set it off just a bit. I'll go into the camera viewport and bring it in here. 75,000. Okay, looks good. Alright, so next we're going to set up our lights. So we'll do this. Go into standard. We're going to create a target direct light and maybe bring it out here, center the target on the planet like before, and drag it up just a little bit. And we're going to call this our key light. Now, a key light is usually the brightest light in your scene, and it's never really a good idea to have more than one at a time, unless you're doing, like, I don't know, a Broadway play or an interrogation room or something. So, just keep that in mind. Little lighting rules there. We're going to turn on the shadows and give it ray trace shadows. And we'll give it a high multiplier of maybe 1.2 and give it a tint of yellow just to sell the effect that we're making this a sun here. Now, why is there no light shining on here? Well, I'll show you guys. What we want to do is we want to turn on overshoot. There's our light. And we'll set the fall off field to maybe 50,000. Or maybe higher than that in case you want to add stuff to your scene. Like maybe have a little spaceship floating around in orbit or something. Okay, looking good. Now, next what we want to do is we want to create a ambient light. So we're going to create a skylight. And we'll set the multiplier to something really low. So maybe 0.05. And we'll give it a bluish tint. Because I like having blues in my space battles. So, alright, looking good so far. So next we're going to bring up the material editor. Render material editor. I like using the compact material editor because I'm used to it. I don't know how the slate editor works. I don't know how anyone else can use the slate editor, to be honest with you. So what I have here is I have these planet maps, and these were created by Matt Davis. So I'm going to drag this into a new material slot, and there it is. I'm going to rename this Planet. Set the diffuse to black. That's just a force of habit of mine. So we'll apply this to our planet geometry. Ba-boom. There it is. So let's get a quick view of it before we apply the bump map, just to make sure that everything looks solid. So let's set this up. That looks pretty good. Looks pretty good as it is. But if we want to give it more detail, we'll add the bump map in. So go back here, hit the bump map, and set it to 5. Not too high, not too low. Great, looks perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to save this. And I'll just save this over my previous test here as a target file. And just call it whatever, ASTFGHJKL semicolon whatever. Just something that you can remember. I'm just going to save mine over my previous planet render. So yes, confirm overwriting. And alright, looks good. Just something with an alpha channel. An image format with an alpha channel like a Targa or a TIFF or, you know, something. I'm just going to choose Targa. I'm going to choose Targa for this tutorial, so choose OK. Alright, now we're going to jump into Adobe After Effects. Okay, so here we are in Adobe After Effects, and we're going to drag our planet into our project file. Next what we're going to do is we're going to just drag it into a new comp. This is going to be 1920 by 1080, and if you just drag it in like that, it'll automatically make a new composition for you. So so what we're going to do now is we're going to create an atmospheric glow around the planet just to make it look more realistic. So I'm going to duplicate this layer, Control D, and I'm going to apply a blur and sharpen fast blur. Repeat edge pixels and blur it out to about maybe 100. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a color correction, hue and saturation. I'm going to colorize it just to make the color stand out. Saturate it quite a bit. Bring up the lightness some. Looks alright. Now, just going to drag it until it matches the color of the planet some. That looks pretty close. Maybe to give it an Earth-like atmosphere, we could do that. So, tighten up the blur a little bit now that we have that. So next up is taking care of this little edge here. So we're going to duplicate this layer, the first layer, twice. Control D, Control D. And the second layer, we're going to track matte to the alpha into the inverted alpha matte of the first layer. Now, I'm going to turn these two layers off. Now you might not be able to see this at instantly, but it's there. There's this little, very, very thin edge here that we're getting. And I'm going to show you why that's important. So in the first layer, what we're going to do is we're going to apply an effect, matte, simple choker. Choker. Luke, I am your father. Just kidding. We're going to bring it in slightly, maybe to about 5. And what that's going to do is it's going to create this sort of halo effect around the planet. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to set the second layer to add. And you can see that makes quite a difference here already. So, alright, for the second layer, we're going to shut this planet layer off right now. We're going to apply another, for the first layer, we're going to apply effect, blur and sharpen, fast blur again, and repeat edge pixels. Set the blur amount to maybe 15. And as you can see, we've got this inner glow going on. So I'll copy this fast blur, Control C, paste it into the second layer, Control V. And I'll turn this layer back on. And let's see here, what else can we do to get rid of this? What can we do to get rid of this? I need about 10 here. And then maybe we can just bring this up to maybe 0.5. And maybe we'll set the blur of this layer to 15. And then tighten the blur up a little bit more over here on this layer to about 25. Yeah, let me see here. If I Set it to maybe 1 or 2.5. Nah, maybe 1's fine. Okay, that looks pretty decent. Maybe I'll bring in the choke mat just a touch. That looks good. That looks pretty decent. So now we have that little glow around the planet. Looks pretty good. And now what we can finally do is we can add in like a background. So I'm going to create a new solid. We're going to call this stars. Drag it to the bottom, and we're going to add, excuse me, we're going to add noise and grain, fractal noise. We're going to set the complexity to 20, and what we're going to do is we're just going to turn this noise into a bunch of stars. So, subsettings. You want to play around with the brightness and contrast, and the subscaling as well. So let me bring this down actually, and just bring it up, and bring it up some more, and bring it up some more, and maybe bring it down again. You really want to experiment with this. So bring it up to a pretty moderate amount, and bring it the sub influence to a high amount as well, and then we'll decrease the brightness. And there we go, instant stars. Looks pretty solid, right? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Alright, well that's it from me. I hope you guys found this tutorial useful. If you have any questions, comments, tips, tricks, cookies and cream, peanut butter jelly sandwiches, leave them in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.